Today, I'm sharing my experience with the 2025 BMW X7 xDrive 40i. I've been driving it for the last 8 months, and while I'd love to say it's been all smooth sailing, I'll give you the real, unfiltered scoop on what it's actually like to live with this SUV, covering interior design, technology, driving dynamics, and a few nitpicks along the way. For reference, the model I've been driving has sparkling copper metallic paint, the cognac Sensafin interior, a 7-passenger configuration, and a $90,000 price tag, along with additional packages like driving assistance, parking assistance, and premium. So, this is far from your average SUV, but is it worth the price? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about the practical side of things, starting with how the X7 really stands out in terms of both its interior layout and good looks. Inside, it's a luxurious and spacious haven, offering more than enough leg and headroom for the first and second row passengers. The layout is smart, everything is within easy reach, and the materials are top-notch. The cognac interior looks incredible, and it gives the X7 a real sense of luxury, making it a pleasure to spend time in. We also have heated seats and steering wheel, which have been a nice touch in cooler months. But honestly, I regret not opting for the ventilated seats. Summer in this SUV can get toasty, and I find myself wishing for cooling features whenever the temperature climbs. If you're getting the X7, I'd recommend considering that option. It's one you'll appreciate when the weather heats up. On to the seating configuration. The 7-passenger layout was a key reason I went with the X7. With a growing family, it's important to have room for everyone, and the third-row seats are handy for kids. In fact, my youngest has claimed the third row as their favorite seat. It's a cozy spot for short trips, but let's be honest, if you're an adult sitting back there for an extended period, it's gonna feel cramped. Perfect for the kids, not so much for grown-ups. When it comes to trunk space, the X7 falls short. Despite the spacious cabin, the trunk offers only 12.8 cubic feet with the third row seats up, enough for a few grocery bags or duffel bags, but not ideal for a family road trip. I often fold down one side of the third row for more room, but when both sides are up, it's pretty limited. To solve this, I've actually ordered a BMW roof box to provide the extra luggage space we need for those long road trips that require more room than the trunk can handle. There is hope on the horizon though. I've heard rumors that the next-gen X7 will be longer than this model, which might address the trunk space issue. If that happens, I think it'll make a big difference for families who need to carry a lot of gear. Another thing that took me a bit of time to figure out is the second row seat adjustments. There's a lot of buttons to choose from, and it can be confusing at first. If you're trying to quickly lower the second row seats to access the third row, it's a little slow, and there's no one-touch magic button for fast seat movement. Once you get the hang of which button does what, it's fine, but don't expect it to be super quick. When the second and third row seats are folded down, the X7 transforms into a surprisingly spacious cargo area. We're talking about small moving van levels of cargo capacity. With 90.4 cubic feet of room, it's more than enough space for everyday tasks when you need it. I once fit over 40 bags of mulch in there, and it handled it like a champ. While most people aren't buying this SUV for massive hauling, the cargo space is definitely a convenient bonus when you need it. Keeping this beautiful interior clean can be a hassle, especially with kids and the weekend warrior trips to Home Depot. So it's a perfect time for a quick mention of our sponsor for today's video, 3W Auto Life, a US-based company that specializes in floor liners and other vehicle accessories. These mats are custom crafted for the X7, thanks to 3D laser scanning technology, ensuring a perfect fit. They don't slide around, they're durable, they're easy to clean, and most importantly, they protect your vehicle's interior from dirt, mud, and spills. With Vigor Mold, these mats are built to last, handling the wear and tear of daily life with ease. I've been very impressed with how easy they are to clean. No more vacuuming for hours and scrubbing stains until your arm gets sore. Just a quick wipe or a hose down and you're good to go. Plus, 3W floor liners are made with Thorex material, which is completely odor-free and safe for your family, making them perfect for those who spend a lot of time in their cars. To protect your investment and keep your X7 looking pristine, I highly recommend 3W floor liners, available for both left and right-hand drive vehicles. They've got you covered no matter where you are. Okay, so let's get back to the review and talk about the X7's infotainment system. This vehicle runs on the improved iDrive 8.5 platform. It's responsive, intuitive, and has a sleek layout with a sharp touchscreen. The digital instrument cluster is easy to navigate, and the heads-up display provides key information without distraction. However, there are a few things that I'm not a fan of. First, the climate controls are integrated into the infotainment system. which can be frustrating. It's not as quick or intuitive as having physical buttons for things like temperature, fan speed, and heated seats. Having to dig through menus while driving is a hassle. On the bright side, Apple CarPlay works seamlessly, letting you easily connect your phone and access apps with a crisp, smooth display. As for the gesture control, I'm not sold. Sure, it looks cool, but who actually twirls their finger to adjust the volume? Honestly, I'd probably defriend someone if I saw them doing that or waving their hand to change a radio station. Like, who do you think you are, David Copperfield? Overall, the tech in this X7 is solid, with iDrive 8.5, CarPlay, and the BMW connected app working seamlessly. The wireless charging is a convenient touch, and the audio system sounds great as well. Just a few quirks could use some refinement, but that's pretty common with most modern cars these days. Moving on to driving technology, the X7's driving assistance package includes adaptive cruise control, which has its perks but isn't without its flaws. It makes stop-and-go traffic easier, especially on long drives, by automatically steering and adjusting speed based on the car ahead. On a divided freeway, you can even take your hands off the wheel. At first, it's a bit nerve-wracking since it's only a Level 2 autonomous system, but once you get used to it, it's a solid feature for highway driving. However, the system has its drawbacks. It leaves too big of a gap between you and the car in front, which annoys some drivers and causes them to cut in front of you. Also, when it comes to lane changes, the system steers with a much sharper angle than I'd use, making the experience less smooth and controlled. The parking assistance feature is another helpful tech addition, steering and controlling the throttle and brakes when backing into tight spots, making parking easier, especially in crowded areas. Now that we've covered the driving nannies, it's time to shift gears and talk about the true driving spirit of what BMW is all about. This is where the X7 really comes into its own. Overall, I'm happy with the power. It's got a 3-liter turbocharged inline-six engine that produces 375 horsepower and goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds. That's more than enough to make it feel peppy and responsive on the road. While the ride might feel a bit soft at times, especially in comfort mode, BMW's signature handling and braking are still there when you need them. The suspension does a great job of smoothing out bumps, but when you want to push it, the X7 will respond with that precision and stability you expect from a BMW. Would I spend the extra $30K to upgrade to the M60i? I'm not so sure. Sure, it offers more power and a more aggressive look, but for my needs of shuffling the kids around town, the 40i is plenty fast. Plus, the fuel economy is considerably better with the inline-six versus the M60i's V8. However, if I had the money, I'd go for the Alpina XB7. With 612 horsepower and a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds, it's ridiculously fast. And the aero kit looks pretty badass. For now though, the 40i strikes a good balance of performance and efficiency. The handling is precise, the ride comfortable and quiet. Whether cruising on the highway or running errands, it's a joy to drive, with a nice blend of performance and luxury. Let's talk about the X7's exterior design. This facelifted model features a more aggressive front end, with a larger kidney grille and slimmer, dynamic headlights that strike a balance between bold and refined. The redesigned front bumper adds a sportier look, while the sleek, angular LED headlights make the front feel more modern. The X7 still maintains its classic, full-size SUV shape with tall proportions and flowing lines. The sparkling copper metallic paint looks rich without being over the top, catching the light beautifully on sunny days. The facelift also brings subtle tweaks to the rear, like a new taillight design and reworked bumper. The result is a polished, cohesive look that still feels true to its luxury SUV identity. Overall, the exterior is a great blend of modern refinement and the bold, commanding presence you'd expect from BMW. Whether parked or on the road, it stands out without being overly flashy. It's a vehicle that commands attention in all the right ways. That said, I do want to mention one quality issue I encountered. There was a whistle noise coming from the passenger side mirror cap at highway speeds. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was noticeable when I was cruising at higher speeds. Fortunately, BMW took care of it immediately under warranty, and the fix has held up. While it wasn't a big problem, I'd be remiss if I said the car had zero issues so far. Overall, though, that's been the only minor hiccup I've experienced. So, after 8 months with the 2025 BMW X7, here's what I think. It's a true luxury SUV that lives up to the hype. The driving experience is smooth, powerful, and surprisingly fun. The interior is first class with tech that makes life easier. However, there are a few practical areas that could use improvement, particularly with cargo space and the trunk area when the third row seats are up. If you're looking for a balance of luxury, performance, and practicality, the X7 checks many boxes. It's not perfect, but it offers a solid mix without major compromises. If you're considering the X7 or another luxury SUV in this class, it's definitely worth a test drive. Just know what your priorities are, whether it's comfort, performance, or cargo space. For me, it's been a great ride so far. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Would you pick the X7? Or is there another SUV that caught your eye? Let me know.